Believing in Magic, The Psychology of Superstition by Stuart Vyse is a comprehensive exploration of the psychological factors that lead people to adopt and maintain superstitious beliefs and behaviours. Vyse, a psychologist and behavioural scientist, delves into the various reasons why people across different cultures, age groups and professions engage in superstitious practices, despite living in an age of scientific advancements. The book examines superstition from multiple angles, including sociological, anthropological and psychological perspectives. The author draws upon a wide array of research studies, personal anecdotes and historical examples to illustrate the pervasiveness of superstitious thinking in human society. He also distinguishes between different types of superstitions, such as socially shared beliefs, personal rituals, and belief in the paranormal. Key takeaways. 1. Superstition is a natural product of human learning and cognition. One of the central ideas in the book is that superstitious belief is not abnormal or irrational. Rather, it is a natural consequence of how the human mind works. The book argues that some of the very characteristics that have led to our success as a species, such as our ability to learn from experience and detect patterns in the environment, can also give rise to superstitious thinking. For example, the principle of operant conditioning, which states that behaviours followed by positive outcomes are more likely to be repeated, can lead to the development of superstitious rituals. If a baseball player happens to eat chicken before a game in which he performs well, he may attribute his success to the pre-game meal and continue to eat chicken before future games. This type of accidental reinforcement can create a false sense of causality between unrelated events. Similarly, our tendency to perceive patterns and relationships between events, even when none exist, can foster belief in the paranormal. If a person experiences a series of coincidences, such as thinking about a friend and then receiving a phone call from them, they may conclude that they possess psychic abilities rather than attributing the events to chance. 2. Superstition is influenced by social and cultural factors. While superstition may have its roots in individual psychology, Vyse emphasises that it is also heavily shaped by social and cultural factors. Different societies have their own unique sets of superstitious beliefs and practices, which are transmitted from one generation to the next through socialization and social learning. For instance, in many Western cultures, it is considered bad luck to walk under a ladder, break a mirror, or have a black cat cross one's path. These beliefs are not innate, rather they are learned from parents, peers, and the broader cultural milieu. Children may adopt superstitious behaviours simply by observing and imitating the adults around them, without necessarily understanding the underlying rationale. Moreover, certain occupations and social groups are known for having their own distinctive superstitions. Athletes, for example, are notorious for engaging in elaborate pre-game rituals and carrying lucky charms, while actors often avoid mentioning the name of the Shakespeare play Macbeth inside a theatre. These group-specific superstitions serve to create a sense of shared identity and cohesion among members. 3. Superstition provides a sense of control in uncertain situations. Another key insight from the book is that superstition often arises in situations characterized by uncertainty, risk, and lack of control. When faced with important outcomes that depend on chance or complex factors beyond our understanding, we may resort to superstitious behaviors as a way of coping with anxiety and exerting some degree of influence over the situation. Vyse provides numerous examples of this phenomenon across different domains. Students taking exams may carry lucky pens or wear specific articles of clothing in the hopes of improving their performance. Gamblers may engage in rituals like blowing on dice or avoiding certain numbers in an attempt to sway the odds in their favour. In times of war or natural disaster, people may turn to superstitious practices as a way of warding off danger and creating a sense of order amidst chaos. From a psychological standpoint, these behaviours can be understood as a form of secondary control, in which individuals seek to align themselves with the forces that shape their lives, rather than trying to directly manipulate those forces. By performing a superstitious ritual, a person may feel that they have done everything in their power to bring about a positive outcome, even if the ritual has no actual causal influence. 4. Superstition is not limited to the uneducated or unintelligent. A common stereotype is that superstitious people are ignorant, gullible, or intellectually inferior to their more skeptical peers. However, Vyse presents evidence that superstitious belief is widespread even among highly educated and intelligent individuals. For example, surveys have found that a significant percentage of college students, professors, and scientists hold paranormal beliefs or engage in superstitious behaviours. The book cites the case of two prominent journalists, both graduates of Ivy League universities, who admitted to participating in a superstitious chain letter, despite recognizing the irrationality of their actions. Furthermore, research suggests that there is no clear relationship between education level and susceptibility to superstition. While some studies have found that people with more years of formal education are less likely to endorse superstitious beliefs, others have failed to replicate this finding. Vyse suggests that the type of education one receives may be more important than the quantity. For instance, students in the natural sciences tend to be more skeptical of paranormal claims than those in the humanities or social sciences. 5. Superstition can have both positive and negative consequences. Throughout the book, Vyse grapples with the question of whether superstition is ultimately harmful or beneficial to individuals and society. On the one hand, he acknowledges that some superstitious beliefs can provide a sense of comfort, meaning, and control in the face of adversity. For example, a cancer patient who believes in the power of positive thinking may experience less anxiety and a greater sense of hope than one who feels helpless in the face of their diagnosis. Moreover, research has shown that engaging in superstitious rituals can actually improve performance on certain tasks, possibly by boosting confidence and reducing stress. In one study, participants who were told that a golf ball was lucky performed better on a putting task than those who were given an ordinary ball. This suggests that the mere belief in the power of a superstitious object or action can have tangible effects on behaviour. On the other hand, Vyse argues that reliance on superstition can also have negative consequences. When people turn to magical thinking instead of evidence-based reasoning to make important decisions, they may be more likely to fall victim to scams, pseudoscience, or ineffective medical treatments. Superstitious beliefs can also lead to irrational fears and avoidance behaviours, such as refusing to fly on Friday the 13th or shunning black cats. Furthermore, superstition can sometimes serve as a barrier to scientific progress and critical thinking. If people are too quick to attribute unexplained phenomena to supernatural causes, they may be less motivated to seek out natural explanations or support research into the underlying mechanisms. This can perpetuate a culture of ignorance and hinder the advancement of human knowledge. 6. Superstition is a universal human trait that is unlikely to disappear. Despite the rise of science and technology, Vyse argues that superstition remains a pervasive feature of human society and is unlikely to disappear any time soon. Even in the most technologically advanced nations, a significant proportion of the population holds supernatural beliefs or engages in superstitious practices. This is partly due to the fact that superstition serves deep-seated psychological needs that are not easily eliminated by rational argument or scientific evidence. The desire for control, meaning, and social connection is a fundamental aspect of human nature, and superstition provides a way of satisfying these needs in the face of uncertainty and existential threat. Moreover, the very process of learning and adaptation that has allowed humans to thrive as a species also makes us vulnerable to developing superstitious beliefs. Our brains are wired to detect patterns and causal relationships in the environment even when none exist, and this tendency can lead us astray in certain situations. That being said, Vyse does not argue that we should simply accept superstition as an inevitable part of the human condition. Rather, he suggests that by understanding the psychological and social factors that give rise to superstitious thinking, we can develop strategies for promoting critical thinking and evidence-based decision-making. This might involve improving science education, teaching media literacy skills, or providing alternative sources of meaning and control that do not rely on magical thinking. 7. Superstition exists on a continuum with other forms of irrational belief. While the book focuses primarily on traditional superstitions, such as lucky charms and rituals, Vyse also explores the connections between superstition and other forms of irrational belief, such as belief in the paranormal, conspiracy theories, and pseudoscience. He argues that these phenomena exist on a continuum and share many of the same underlying psychological mechanisms. For example, the tendency to see patterns in random events, known as patternicity, can lead people to believe in everything from astrology to the existence of secret government conspiracies. Similarly, the desire to find meaning and purpose in life can make people more susceptible to belief in supernatural entities or alternative medical treatments that have no scientific basis. The author also notes that the boundaries between superstition, religion, and science are not always clear-cut. While most people would agree that belief in lucky rabbit's feet or the power of voodoo dolls falls into the category of superstition, other beliefs are more ambiguous. For instance, some religious practices such as prayer or faith healing could be considered superstitious if they are used as a substitute for empirically validated methods of problem solving. Similarly, some scientific theories that have not yet been fully tested or replicated could be seen as a form of scientific superstition. 8. Superstition is a cultural universal, but the specific beliefs and practices vary widely. One of the strengths of Vyse's book is its cross-cultural perspective on superstition. While much of the research he cites was conducted in Western societies, he also draws on examples from a wide range of cultures and historical periods to illustrate the universality of superstitious thinking. For example, he describes the superstitious beliefs and practices of the Trobriand Islanders, a small-scale society in the South Pacific studied by anthropologist Bronislaw Malinowski in the early 20th century. The Trobrianders believed that the success of their fishing expeditions depended on the proper performance of magical rituals, and they had different sets of rituals for fishing in the lagoon versus the open sea. This mirrors the tendency of modern-day athletes and performers to engage in different superstitious behaviours depending on the specific challenges they face. At the same time, Vyse emphasises that the content of superstitious beliefs varies widely across cultures and historical periods. What is considered lucky or unlucky, sacred or profane, varies depending on the specific ecological, social, and ideological context in which a society exists. For instance, while black cats are considered bad luck in many Western countries, they are seen as bringers of good fortune in parts of Asia and Africa. Moreover, superstitious beliefs and practices can change over time within a single culture. Vyse cites the example of England in the 16th and 17th centuries, where belief in magic and witchcraft was widespread among all social classes. Over the course of the 18th century, however, these beliefs declined in popularity, partly due to the rise of science and rationalism, and partly due to changing social and economic conditions. In conclusion, believing in magic offers a nuanced and multifaceted exploration of the psychology of superstition. Vyse argues that superstitious thinking is a natural byproduct of human cognition, shaped by basic learning processes, pattern detection, and the need for control in uncertain situations. At the same time, he shows how superstition is deeply embedded in social and cultural contexts, transmitted through socialization and serving important collective functions. While acknowledging the potential benefits of superstition, such as increased confidence and sense of meaning, Vyse ultimately argues for the importance of critical thinking and scientific literacy in modern society. By understanding the psychological roots of superstition, we can develop strategies for promoting rational decision-making and evidence-based problem-solving, while still appreciating the complex ways in which humans make sense of the world around them. Overall, believing in magic is a fascinating and accessible introduction to the science of superstition, drawing on a wide range of research and examples to shed light on a universal human phenomenon. Whether you are a skeptic or a believer, the book offers valuable insights into the quirks and contradictions of the human mind.